Start streaming, and then we'll also be looking for, let's get this party started. Yeah, let's do it for sure. Hello and welcome to another YouTube Live here. We're going to be doing a crypto market update. We also have the TikTok running as a live as well. But this one obviously will be saved within the YouTube. So to start off, we went over BTC already, broken above our key level of around 10K, and now we're holding above that for a nice new level of support. We're not really going to discuss BTC because we've already talked about it. We're looking long. We're looking for a long exposure, and we already have a few trades looking interesting. Holding our levels of support. Ideally, we'd like to see the buy volume start to come in right about now because we've kind of almost completed, hopefully, the accumulation phase for our next market phase for some higher highs and higher lows, breaking key levels of resistances and holding nice levels of support. So I think the first trade that we will go over is Ethereum, because unfortunately we did get wicked out for basically just under 3% profit. Unfortunate, but this was a feeler trade. We didn't have a full position size in it, but still, it was a pretty good trade, and I would have liked it still within the consolidation for me to be holding it, but hey, can't complain about 3%. So let's just break this down. Not going to talk about it a whole lot because we just closed the trade, and I think at this point in time might be a little bit too high. I'd like to see the price come back around here, or look for another alt that has the price not as high up yet, which we will get into within the market. But we entered right here after the break of the resistance, which is a key level within the chart, as we can see. And then we had some consolidation. We kept our stop loss below the previous low. We did get a dip right here, almost hitting our stop loss, but it did not. We were able to hold on to it, and then we got our solid move towards the upside. Once we got 1, 2, and 3 levels of buy pressure within that area of support, we put a stop loss below that area, thinking, hey, it wouldn't be a bad place to keep a stop loss in case it does dump. We really just got a tiny little wick to hit our stop loss, but we got stopped out in the end. Unfortunate, but that was a little tiny profit that we made there. So let's now go to another pair here. XRP, we were looking at, I didn't really enter that, so that shouldn't be there, but XRP is looking pretty good. We see more buy volume coming into the market. At this point in time, that wick doesn't look ideal. Let's just look at the 4-hour here to assess the situation. So on the 4-hour, we still have basically a candle and a half on the 1-hour, because we got like 1.5 hours left. But overall, it does look like we could be seeing a significant move because we see the volume tightening. We can see that right here. Also, you can see the volume tightening as well. What I'm talking about is this right here. The volume is tightening, and then you get a surge of volume pushing the price up. Same thing here. You get a tightening or a tightening like this. I think that's a better representation. And then you're looking for a price to make a volatile move because this tightening is going to have to end somehow. You can see kind of that situation here as well. We saw the initiation of like the bull starting to come in after the consolidation or the tightening phase there. Not as well shown here, but you can really see the illustrated tightening right here and then the move up soon after. So looking at the 4-hour, there's definitely a sign that we could see a move coming up. On the 1-hour, we're seeing more buy volume come in. It's more buy accumulation coming in. So that means that it could be a little bit more of a bullish indication. Looking at potential trend lines towards the upside. Oops, I did see a nice trend line here. Let's just see if it's able to be connected to that part there. Yep, so we got a type 2 connection on the initial second connection point to create the trend line. And then we got a type A that really is well respected at this zone here. So that's it's a potentially dependable zone. It's a potentially an area where we could use as a nice level of support. Yet again, if we do come back here, because we've seen it tested as a support here with some buy accumulation. So it does look a lot better. Also broke the descending zone, confirming that it's a potential shift in trend. Been breaking resistances, holding supports, making higher highs and higher lows. Looks pretty good. That does indicate that there is more buy volume coming into the market with that strong bullish push there, although we did close a little bit below the full distance. We actually rose to the top. Let's just see the 15-minute here. I don't love looking at the 15-minute, and we're potentially holding previous levels of resistance, new levels of support right around here. I'm going to stick with the 1 hour. It looks pretty good. There's a lot of indications that do tell me that it could see a move to the upside. I was thinking about entering, but I didn't because I was pretty exposed to different alts within the market. But I'm actually thinking about potential entry. Let's look at back for the daily here. Because this is one of those that it's a little bit far away from the descending zone that I can't really create it as a zone of confluence. So it's just going to be a support bounce because it's pretty far away from this zone here. But it's still breaking the descending zone, and it's made a structural higher high and held the previous higher low for a support. So there's a lot of things giving me a potential move to the upside here, and the first level to take profit would be the previous high there, probably giving me a risk reward of 2 to 1. Let's just look at it. I would have the stop loss below the previous low just to make sure that I'm going to be insured on the trade. And then looking at the first level to take profit, it's definitely looking very, very favorable for a trade in terms of the risk reward. You're looking at a risk reward of around 2.8, maybe 2.7, maybe a little bit higher if you're able to get an entry a little bit lower down towards our support there. But the risk reward does look pretty good for a entry here. So just a quick thing on our TikTok, someone asked, what is your YouTube channel? It is Performante. So basically exactly the same way you spell it, or not basically, it is the exact same way you spell it like our TikTok. So to continue on with the analysis, we don't really have a whole lot more to talk about. If we do get a validation of a new level of support here, once again, that would be pretty good. We're seeing a tremendous amount of injections of buy pressure within this market, so we can validate that, yes, this is a buy zone and this is where buyers are located. So I'm somewhat interested. I think I might hold off a little bit here, but could be something that we're going to be looking at because we did get taken out of Ethereum, even though we didn't have risk exposure in Ethereum because we moved our stop loss above our entry point. Overall, I'm still looking for longs because the market still does look pretty good. BNB is not yet. Actually, let's just look at BNB, and I'll take this off right here because we don't really need that. So BNB, structurally speaking, we made a higher high, and it looks like we're holding the previous low, indicated by this gray zone here. The breakout was pretty good overall. And that would have been a good entry right there. I didn't get that entry, but overall looks pretty good. We do see this zone here hold really well. This level right here for support hold really well, so that's great to see. We do see lower highs, and there's not a whole lot of buy volume coming in for BNB, so it's not ideal. But like many others, after breaking this descending zone, we've been making higher highs and higher lows, breaking resistances, holding supports. So in that aspect, it is healthy. Looking at the 4-hour chart here. 4-hour chart still looks pretty good. We can see that we are just within that consolidation zone there. So this could be a nice markup phase. We do see that there's a little bit more sell pressure coming into the market within the consolidation than buy pressure. But this could still be the accumulation phase for the next markup. Like we kind of saw here, this was the first level of markup after the distribution phase right here. And then we saw another level of a markup. So we could potentially see another move up to ideally to around the level around $26, $27 maybe at the highs, but still not looking bad. I think we could potentially even draw this just looking at the... So that's definitely a level of resistance here. We don't have a whole lot of confirmation. We could use it as a previous level of resistance, support, resistance. So that is a level of resistance that Binance Coin is on right now, which we can kind of assess with just that trend line. I'm going to take it off, but it's just something to consider that I haven't noticed before. So that is BNB. Just looking at the comments right now. So we have 19 people online on TikTok. Wow, that's pretty good. So now going on to EOS. Let's look back at the 4-hour chart here. Sorry, I got a little bit of a runny nose here. I've been for a few days. So we got a very, very nice structural high here around the $5.30 or $5.40 range, and then we had a very, very sharp fall down. We are holding this nice little support. We do see the volume squeezing. Like we said before, volume is squeezing, so we could see a pretty strong move kind of coming up. We'll see how it goes. It did look pretty good, and then we got a fall down below our support, and then I kind of looked at the market in a less bullish way. Like, what I mean by this is on the hour chart, we already talked about the key zones, like the gray zones that we see right there. So we see our first injection of buy volume. That's great to see. So that's our first indication. And then we get a little bit of a drop down, still holding this zone. And then we see our second injection of buy volume. That's great to see. And then after this injection of buy volume, I thought, okay, then it might be kind of ready for takeoff. That looks really bullish. And then the second most recent hourly candle is actually pretty bearish. So now I'm kind of looking at the market in a little bit of hesitation, especially for EOS, or just for EOS at this moment, because you see lower highs. This is a high, this is a lower high, this is a lower high, as well as the rejection at this zone is pretty strong. It's a pretty significant candle with sell volume coming in. So for me, that's a pretty significant rejection from the sellers. Now, we still are holding this previous level of resistance as a nice level of support, but that rejection does give me a little bit of hesitation. Now, what I will want to see if I am looking to enter in this particular pair is I'd like to see a higher high. We see a higher low from here and a higher low from here, and then structurally speaking, now we're seeing lower highs. We saw a high here, and a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high with a pretty big rejection. So we see a descending zone. I can connect it with a trend line. Let's just get that right there. So I can connect that zone with the trend line. What we're looking to see is a price. We're now getting a squeeze, right? Because previous level of resistance, new level of support. So there's a squeeze going on. If the price breaks to the downside, I'm not really looking to short. If the price breaks to the upside, I could potentially be looking to get some long exposure because we already got some long exposure taken out, and we have a little bit of room for our portfolio to take risk if it's a good trade opportunity. So and this opportunity is looking pretty good. I don't love the sell pressure, but if we do make a structural higher high and we're able to hold it, maybe retest a nice previous level of resistance for a new level of support, then I'd be looking to maybe look a little bit more closely on EOS. But right now, structurally speaking on the hour chart, it doesn't look too appetizing for me to enter. Link, on the other hand, looks pretty darn strong. So taking it back to the daily, why are we looking at this in a bullish manner? Well, let's look at the previous all-time high that we had. Not talking about the actual wick, but just talking about the candle closure. So we see a major candle closure at around the $3.80 range and $3.71 range as well. And on the daily, we can see it's a very significant candle closure area as well, where just the bodies of the candles are holding at that zone, and then we don't see the candle actually close above the zone. So this is very significant, and we want to really ensure that we understand where that zone is on the chart for the daily, which is a pretty significant price level. Now we understand why we put our major level of demand here. This is going to be the major level of demand, this green zone right here. And then we have a mid-range zone within our price action pattern, which is this zone right here. So this is our consolidation zone right here. And oops, I didn't draw that in properly. So this is our oh my gosh. Come on, mouse. This is our consolidation zone right here. And what we're looking for, what our job is, to look for patterns that give us an edge that we can find, that give us good risk-reward parameters that is in line with the bias of whichever way we're thinking the price will go. In this particular situation, we are expecting the price to go up. Ideally, what we're looking for is a descending zone squeezing us closer to the apex of the price action pattern. Once it breaks, then we trade that breakout, and we really have a good edge with that particular system. But in this current system, we see the price kind of making an ascending wedge or ascending channel with the price holding higher highs and higher lows. The price is creating an ascending support and an ascending resistance, respecting both lines. I'm just going to put that a little bit more clean, and that looks pretty clean as well. I think we can also potentially, just looking at a potential breakout that we could see, this zone right here. We might even get it up a little bit higher. But I think this is also a zone that we could see potentially for a breakout. Might even get it to this top zone here. Just seeing where that wick closes. Yep, we're right on that zone, which is good. And we're seeing, I think that's definitely going to be the zone that we're going to use. Because we see a squeeze right now. The price is squeezing closer from a resistance that is holding it below a certain zone and a support that is squeezing the price higher and higher, bringing it closer towards the resistance. It's a pretty ascending zone, but let's switch it to the 15-minute. Then it becomes a lot easier to understand. Also have a horizontal zone. I think I'm going to take some of these horizontal zones away to make it a little bit cleaner and simpler and easier to understand. And we got a key level of resistance right there, right? Previous recent all-time high. Definitely going to have to consider that within what we're trading on the smaller time frames. And then we see a nice level right here get respected as well. So we got our nice levels within the chart. Just going to refine that a little bit more, and I don't need that little thing there. Alright, so if we are going to break our zone of confluence for the resistance zone, let's just talk about market flow for a little bit, zooming right in to the smaller time frame chart. So, just going to quickly look at some of the comments we are getting here. So the chart going to spike up now. I can't say that, but expansion phase, yep, haven't got a clue what you're doing. That's unfortunate. I made 900,000 in 2 weeks in practice account. That is great. So if your volume goes down with the correct analysis, the chart should go up. Whereas from there, how can I get started? I can answer that right now before we get in. So this Discord is our community. We host a Discord community here that we post a bunch of analysis. We just posted a BTC USD market update, which is going to update you on the price of Bitcoin starting from a large time frame, starting from looking at years and years, all the way down to the hour chart, looking at what could potentially happen in the next couple days or so. We talk all about that within the video, and we also go over the different tools we use to analyze the supply and demand within the market. We do this every single day. That's a great place to start for free education. If you want more of a direct one-on-one mentorship, we do offer that as well. We have video content that we do offer, and we also have books as well and other tools. So these are some of the videos that we offer. All about risk management, different types of breakouts, how to use the Excel sheet that we have, how to create a proper trading plan, how to use indicators, how to use zone of confluence, how to find a quality coin trade, identifying market structure. These are a lot of the things that you need in order to trade profitably in the markets or trade properly in the markets. And then we also have swing trade alerts. So I let people know exactly what I'm doing every single trade, as well as a video analysis with timestamps so you know exactly where to go for every single analysis that you're looking for. So we kind of do it all within the cryptocurrency space. If you're investing, if you're trading, so we educate. If you're interested, definitely check us out. Check out our Discord and our website or Instagram if you'd like to know more. We have a lot of value on our Instagram as well. So getting back to Chainlink, we got our descending zone here. Our horizontal zone here, not a descending, it's a horizontal zone. That creates our initial resistance zone where we could potentially have sellers at this area. And then what creates the confluence is this ascending resistance where we have our first anchor point, which is this right here. And then we have first touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch, fifth touch. We have a lot of positions where this trend line is getting resisted. So we know for a fact that this level is it's a dependable zone. It's not a potentially dependable zone. It is a dependable zone because we've seen it respect so many times in the past. So we got resistance coming here. We got sellers keeping the price, still making higher highs, but it's keeping the price below a certain area. And then we also have two ascending supports. We have a little bit less ascending one, which is going to be the anchor point, going to be right here. We have our first touch point, and then we have our second touch point, which is a pretty significant area. So this creates a potentially dependable zone. We also have another one, which is an anchor point right here, with our first touch being this zone right here, and then we have the we have the third touch, we have the fourth touch, and we have the fifth touch. So this trend line right here, this ascending trend line, is a dependable zone, and this trend line right here is kind of a potentially dependable zone. So we are going to try to use the more dependable zone first, and the more dependable zone is also squeezing us closer. So we see the resistance squeezing us right here, and then we see the support squeezing us right here. So we don't have a whole lot of room left until we are coming to the end of the funnel, right? So it just depends which way we are going to break. In my personal view, I do think we could break. We have a higher possibility to break into the upside, but I think in this circumstance, if we do break to the downside, this could be a good possible hedge for the current trades that we're in, because this is such a significant zone, because this ascending support is such a significant ascending support with 5 levels of dependability, or 5 areas of dependability. We can then assess that this is an area of sensitivity and an area of sell pressure. If we hold it, we'll probably get the price to come back down here, and that'd be a good opportunity for us to capture to the long side. If we're able to break it, and then we break the resistance, breaking our previous resistance point and our zone of confluence right here, and then we make a move to the upside, retest, and then push up, that would be a great opportunity for us. So Link is looking really good for a potential opportunity. I'll put it up a little bit higher on the list. EOS, not so much. TRX, not so much. We've got a pretty big rejection candle on the 1 hour chart there. I think there are other patterns that provide a little bit better of a indication of buyers in the market. Quickly looking at the 4 hour. The 4 hour doesn't look bad. We're holding a strong level of support at around the 2071 range. We got a mid-range zone that we could make it a little bit larger, incorporating larger areas within the chart, kind of like that. And then that makes it look definitely not as bullish. But we did break our descending zone on the 1 hour. We've retested for a nice level of support on the 1 hour and 4 hour. We can see that right there. Very, very nice retest. And then we made a higher high. Structurally, this could be a higher low. So it doesn't look too bearish altogether. I wouldn't be looking to enter short just yet. But that resistance there is a little bit worrying in this particular trade. Dash is making a higher lows, but this could actually be a great hedge, a great short opportunity if the market presents itself. And we see that right here. I don't really see a perfect opportunity for a trade. Let's just see if I can put it here and make it look a little bit cleaner. Yeah, that looks like an alright. If I touch the trend line here, because it did, I think I will just use a projection at the end of the day. I think that makes it easier, makes it a zone instead of a single point, and I'm able to refine it when it gets to the point where I can really understand where it is. Oops, I didn't really do that properly. Get our projection, and then right there. So let's look at the larger time frames here, because for me, if we're looking short, this is a pretty damn good short position to put on, in my opinion. So let's talk about the potential market structure here. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Todd. Thank you for joining in. Kevin, markets are bullish, doubt major losses, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to get a link on. That's turning into a descending triangle. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. But anyways, let's continue on here. Yeah, I was. So just saying, I was bullish on Link more or less. I said I would like to see a bullish push and then break the resistance or confluence, and that would be looking like a potential bullish move. And then if we pull back and validate it for a new level of support, that would be the best possible scenario. So I am looking more in a bullish situation for Link. But if the market presents itself in a bearish way, then we could have some options. But like we said before, we want to look for longs here in this market. So Dash is the only option that for me is like, I'm not really looking to long this. This is going to be my short play if the market does switch, because we have so many opportunities within the market that we're longing already. So we see our ascending zone here. That was our level of support. Very, very strong level within the chart. We retested for a nice level of resistance. Very, very well within our zone of confluence for the sell side. Resistance, support, going to be another level of resistance there. So really, really well structured breakdown that we saw on Dash. And then we hit a major level of support, not perfectly. I didn't draw the initial trend line here, but these two white zones represent our mid-range zone that we're working with. Initially, these lows right here were pretty well respected on the daily, but not so much on the 4-hour and hour chart. And then we see the price respect this zone yet again for a nice level of support. And then what we're seeing now is a price respect a horizontal level of resistance, previous level of support. Also a pretty important level on the chart in the historic price action. We can see that right here. And also we can see the price make an ascending, hold an ascending support, creating an ascending triangle, which could be a bullish move. But like I said before, we've already have a lot of exposure in the market for long side, and if we do see a bullish move towards the upside, we will be looking for potential take profits maybe at this zone here, because it's a confluence zone for sell pressure within the ascending resistance in the horizontal zone. But overall, ideally what we would be looking to see if we are seeing, or if we are looking for a potential short entry, if we do see the market shift, only if we see BTC break down that we're going to be entering shorts. But in that example, what we want to see is, let's see if the price breaks a little bit higher up here. We're holding the horizontal zone of resistance, which is great. We're looking for horizontal zones where you have zones of sensitivity. We're looking for a break, holding below a zone of support, and then retesting for a nice level of resistance, seeing confirmation, seeing pin bars, seeing bearish candle closures with some bearish engulfing candles. You're looking for potential double tops. You're looking for things that indicate that there is bears in the area. Once that is there, then you're looking to enter, and then your first take profit's probably going to be here. And then once that occurs, you're going to put that stop loss to then break even, and then you are basically going to be looking for the price to break below. If it doesn't, then you take your profits and walk away. So that is the overall outlook for the current trades here. Just quickly looking at XRP, does not look bad. BNB doesn't look too bad either. Link, I'm actually pretty damn interested in. And BTC looking good. We are seeing the buyers to come pick it up again. We have around 13 minutes until this current candle closure on the 1-hour chart. So we don't have a full candle closure yet, but it's looking pretty good. Not going to be too rushed or anything, just taking it slow, taking it easy. And then Litecoin still looks pretty good. So this is the next pair that we have already entered in. And we broke above. We entered basically right when it started breaking above our zone of confluence for the sellers. And we've been consolidating since, but we've been holding it, being really, really patient, not letting emotions play at hand at all, being very patient. We have the stop loss at the 74.47 range, and then we have a first level take profit around 83. So we have a risk reward for a first level take profit around 4.49, which is phenomenal. We did increase our stop loss. It was a little bit lower, but overall that's looking really, really good for us in this particular trade. We do have a resistance obviously right here, but we are speculating that it's going to break that resistance because BTC does look strong. First level take profit is at the previous double top there, which is a pretty good first level take profit. And then we have a major structural high around $88 and $90. That's probably going to be the next level take profit. But for now, we're just seeing it consolidate, not really doing much, but we're still happy with the entry. We're still happy with the position and the exposure that we are getting from Litecoin. So we're going to keep holding on and see what comes out of this particular trade. Atom, I wish I entered that. That looks so prime. Unfortunately, we did not. But we saw a very, very nice pullback. I would have entered on this bullish candle here, right here, because it made a new higher high. But this is what I saw right here. So we saw a descending zone. I was saying after it broke that major resistance, I should have really entered here. So this is the anchor point. We saw a major key resistance zone here connecting the lower highs. Once we saw the break in the descending zone, we're looking to make a structural higher high, breaking the consolidation phase. Like we know, there is a descending phase, there is the consolidation, and then there is the uptrend. And then we're looking for the price to make a higher high to break us out of the horizontal phase and into the uptrend, to make higher highs, higher lows, breaking resistances, holding supports. And that's exactly what we did. We broke, made a higher high. Great to see, breaking previous resistance. Now we're looking to make a nice higher low from the previous level of resistance. That's literally exactly what we got. Textbook. I guess not looking at the charts when this happened. Let's look at the time. But damn, that was like a pretty picture perfect situation to be in. Look how fucking perfect that is. A nice level of support. And once this candle comes in, once this bullish engulfing candle comes in with strong bullish volume, that would have been pretty well the perfect entry. And then we saw the bullish volume continue towards the upside. Really good to see that break in the previous resistance. Potentially going to be a nice new level of support to potentially see the nice new high right there. That would have been a really good entry, but unfortunately we did not get it. So good overall trade for Adams. Structurally speaking, I think it might be a little bit late now. We'll see how the market does. We do have a little bit of a resistance at around the $4.85, maybe $5 range. So I will want to see how the price reacts to those levels, because it could be a pretty big pullback for a resistance there. So, and also what I just noticed, we do see a potential zone of resistance around here, and the level of confluence for the sell pressure right around there. So I want to be ensured that the price is going to break this zone before I look to enter again with an atom, because at this time it's a little late because the risk reward would just not be worth it. Oops, I always do that. But we'll see how the market reacts when we get to this zone. Maybe it reacts in a positive way and just breaks above. Maybe we might get some hesitation and it pushes above and retests it for a valid level of support. That would be great, but that's kind of the overall structure that I see with Atom right now. I'm going to keep it on the 1 hour chart there. XLM, definitely sell lumens broke out. Pretty good to see. We see on the 4 hour, let's just take these off and just start off from the structural supply and demand zone, which is going to be our major white areas. Really easily shown within this zone. Also, we can see a mid-range zone right here with the structural support and resistance right there. So then we can assume that it's going to be another level of support. Now on to the 1 hour chart, and we know that this is a strong level of demand. We broke our descending zone that we had here, kind of like a lot of the different pairs within the market. Can't really see a descending zone like we can see within some of the other alts. We could potentially kind of get that zone there, but not really seeing anything worth noting or putting on. That kind of zone, but not really. Basically, we had our accumulation phase right here, or our consolidation, where we weren't making higher highs. We were making higher lows, so we were making an ascending triangle right there, which is pretty good, but we basically were consolidating, not being able to make a higher high. So that zone right there initially, and then we pulled back, validated this zone, seeing lots of buy injections in the market. That's a very healthy chart in an ascending trend line, and then an ascending triangle, sorry. Really good to see. So lots of opportunities in the markets here. Let's just see how the different markets are looking for me. Looking pretty good. BTC is starting to move up, so that is good to see. And then a lot of the other alts are moving up as well. So definitely seeing some buy pressure, seeing some money to be made. Sweet. All right, so basically we're holding this nice tight little range. And we broke out. If we maybe retest this zone lightly, that would be a good entry, because we've already broken out, already breaking resistance. And if we're able to, already holding support, if we maybe retest this zone here, that would be a phenomenal entry. At this point, we're really only looking for one validation of a nice new level of support. After breaking a key zone, we're looking for two, because it could be a little pullback. But at this point here, we are just looking for a pullback. If we get it, that's great. If not, then we'll probably not be looking to enter this particular trade. And then first level take profit, probably going to be right here if we do get in it. But at this point in time, not going to be entering. Stellar lumens, if it does pull back, that'd be looking pretty good. LTC is a trade we're in. XLM Atom we not talked about. So I like Stellar more than XLM, or sorry, Atom. Next one is going to be Cardano or ADA. Haven't made a real structural higher high yet, so instantly I'm not loving it. We can see that there's a resistance that's been held there. We have been making higher lows, so we could probably create a nice little ascending trend line there. So that's good to see. So we have an ascending triangle, but structurally speaking, it haven't made a higher high, so I'm not absolutely loving that right now. Seeing a little bit of hesitation on the live stream there for YouTube. Looking at the Performante TikTok there. A lot of people joining. That's great to see. Notice me, Performante person. Yep, Kevin, I do notice you. How's it going? Think we're going to be a great potential win. Thanks for this. You the best. Yeah, no problem, man. So basically we are kind of right in the middle of the squeeze. Wouldn't really want to be thinking about entering Cardano at this point, but if it does break and then pull back, we could have a nice potential opportunity. Except our first level of take profit, we got a bit of hesitation at this zone. So if we do manage our risk pretty well, we could get a risk reward of maybe 2 for our first level of take profit. But you know, if we're getting entries a little bit too high up where we have to have too much risk, it might not be worth it, because then the risk reward would not really be ideal for the first level of take profit. So we can extend that a little bit further just to validate. It's a pretty strong zone and we haven't broken above it. So we want to really ensure that we're breaking above the zone before we look to enter. ZEC has been making higher highs and higher lows. Pretty good to see. We're on the 4-hour chart here, so let's just zoom it out a little bit. Not really seeing a whole lot I can see. There's not really a squeeze we can incorporate. We could put a descending trend line there to kind of connect the lower highs until we broke. So we got that nice little zone right there. Recently broke it. Good to see. So I think we are able to retest this previous level of resistance as a new level of support, which it looks like we are. That could be a good possible entry there. And then we got a nice little resistance right there. So yeah, it's a all right possibility. We also see some higher lows that we could connect with an ascending trend line, like so. So we got a zone of confluence there where buyers could be. Decently nice to see within the price action. Let's just put a projection in there as well. Actually, I'm going to extend this and drop this one so we can try to incorporate maybe even... Let's just see if we're... Oh yeah, we are able to incorporate everything. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to put a trend line so we can kind of incorporate the entire structure within that bottom there. And then get a nice little projection. Don't have to make it big, but just so we have a nice green... Oops, that's the wrong one. I want that projection to be green, and we do it like so. So we broke the resistance. Actually, what we can do is just refine that and then actually make it red so we can see the structure of the market a little bit more. And then we're also going to... We could put it down to kind of incorporate that little zone, but I think I'm actually going to... Actually, I will put it down. I'll probably put it down a little bit just like that. So we got a nice little area of support here, our little level, and then we got our major market resistance up top here. So we do have some significant resistance to pass, but what a possible trade could look like in this situation for Zcash is if we are able to hold this level and we get 2 injections of buy volume coming into the market, that's when you'd be looking to long. You don't want to be looking to long willy-nilly. You want to make sure that you are getting the best possible entries, and you want to see validation that there are actual buyers within that zone you're looking at, and waiting for injections of buy volume for confirmation is a good way to do it. So just looking at risk reward, that's how much risk that we'd be taking on or incurring within our trade if we do get an entry at the lower end here with a stop loss just below the previous low. With risk reward, basically we'd be at an initial risk reward of 2 to 1 if we are aiming for that high there, which isn't that bad. I think it does look pretty possible within the price action. We haven't broken our major zone there, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But we did break our minor level and we held on the 4 hour, so that's really good to see. But that would be the first level of take profit that I'd be looking for. If it breaks here, I think that it'd be pretty easy to see the $92 range from the 77, which seems pretty crazy, but 20% moves is not crazy to see within the crypto market. So I'll kind of take a look at it. I like it way more than ADA. I like it more than Atom right now. ADA is not something I love. ZEC has more opportunity, in my opinion. So I'll kind of be looking at that. My main one, I'm in LTC right now. XLM, if it does pull back, would look pretty good, but I'm not really looking to enter at this point. It's a little bit overextended. I would like to see a pullback for me to get a good risk reward. ZEC, like I said, decent opportunity, not really loving it. ETC, I don't love. I haven't been loving the price action recently on ETC. It's a little bit volatile. I'm not really seeing anything clear. Seeing ascending trend line. Let's just play around with it this year, because I did like trading Ethereum Classic quite a bit for a little bit. It was a great dependable pair, and then it kind of became very, very volatile. You see like moves like this happen, and that just takes off stop losses, and it's just not great. But if you see a little bit more ebb and flow, if you see a little bit more wave patterns, then I get a lot more interested. So we see a little bit of an ascending triangle, not complete yet. Definitely don't want to be looking to enter, but it's something that we could see possibly create a entry if we do get the break of the $10 range and then hold, and then we get a nice little retest. That'd be good, but for now, not really looking to enter. So that's the overall structure for those. XRP looking pretty good. Might actually put some more on XRP here, or put some on XRP. LinkedIn breakout, BNB still looking all right. Let's see what EOS is doing. EOS is not doing amazing, not doing terrible. TRX still hasn't really broken out. We can make those higher lows, but just basically going to leave it there. And Dash is not really something that I'm super interested in. Let's see what the next candle does. We just had the 1 hour candle close on the 1 hour, and then we got, let's just see, I think 1 hour left on, we got 1 hour left on the 1 hour, so that'll be interesting to see close where the 4 hours will close. And not a whole lot more to look at. Link looks like a potential. I'm looking at that. XRP looks like a possible potential. I already have exposure on Litecoin and BTC at this very moment, but I still am looking to gain exposure within the market. Yeah, we'll see. XRP pulling back. If we validate that zone yet again, that would be looking pretty good. On the 4 hour, we do see once that candle closure appears, that would be pretty good for like a pretty solid push up. Although we do have a pretty good resistance there. Oh, we'll see how this next candle goes. We already have long exposure, so we're not screaming to enter, but at this point in time, it wouldn't be bad to enter a little bit more. We do have also ZEC to consider as well. It'd be nice to see a little bit more buy volume come in, but yeah, it's a little bit of commentary. Let's just quickly look at the comments if we do get any. Amazing information. Yeah, thank you very much, Limitless Marketing, for that comment. So now to the final couple handfuls of pairs that we have here. The first one, we're going to start off with MATIC. I've been looking at this one for a while, just on the 4 hour. I'm personally not wanting to enter until we see the price break the descending zone, which is going to be right around here. This is the price make a high. This is the anchor point, and then we see one rejection, two rejection. I'd like to see a potential third rejection, and then the price come down within the price action again, and then retest and potentially break the zone. Then I'd be looking to enter, because then we have 4 touch points, creating a dependable zone that we can rely on. And until that happens, I'm not really looking to enter. Yep, someone is trying to scam our Discord. So also watch out for anyone like just sending you bullshit, saying that you'll make money, sending them 5 Bitcoin and they'll send you 10 back. All that stuff is total BS. Trade for yourself. We teach how to trade. We're not trying to trade cheap. We're not trying to teach sheep, I should say. We're trying to trade, or trying to teach people how to independently think for themselves and create their own strategy so that they can backtest. And yeah, that does potentially lose some students in the end, but hey, we're teaching people how to feed themselves instead of just giving them a fish. So now onto NEO on the hour chart. Same thing, descending zone created into a new level of support. We see it initially test for a first level of support, and then we see our first injection of buy volume, making it a potential dependable zone. We do get the sellers to try to push back up, and then we retest that resistance again for a nice new level of support right here, and then we get the buyers to come back up. I'd ideally like to see the price break this level of resistance before really looking to long, although there is obviously more of a confirmation of a more long bias. One thing to note, though, this kind of looks like a head and shoulders. It did break here, so we're not really looking for head and shoulders, but this resistance is definitely the key zone that we want to pass in order for us to be looking for any long exposure. ONTs, all right. Like I don't really see an opportunity for a long, so I'm not really looking for one. We do see a nice little zone right here, but at this point in time, I'm not really looking for any moves to the upside for ONT. Ravencoin, same kind of thing, pretty messy. I haven't really seen a good opportunity yet on Ravencoin. We just see a high RVOL, which is pretty good, but overall, nothing really that points to any entries for me. VET is supporting its new support, which is pretty good right here. It does have a mid-range zone that we do need to keep mind of, which is right around here. So let's zoom in on the 1 hour. We were just at the 4 hour. We see nice higher lows. Sorry, I was just burping there if you heard. My excuses. So you see some nice higher lows right around there, which is great to see. Currently just below a major level of resistance, so that's not ideal, but we do see some higher lows here. So we've got to squeeze if the price is able to break above and hold above that key level of support. That could be a good opportunity, but for now we're just going to stay patient and kind of just see what the price action gives us. We're not really looking for a major entry yet on this particular pair. We see it doing something. We're kind of interested, but we're not really looking for anything to do at this point in time for those pairs. ICX is the last one. We see a nice structural descending channel with the price making nice higher highs or lower highs and lower lows, sorry. And the price broke out of the major structural key zone of resistance right here where there's a level of confluence for the sellers. We broke above and we saw a tremendous amount of buy pressure come into the market. This is strong buy accumulation, which is great to see for the bulls. And then we retested the previous level of resistance, which is going to be right around here for a new level of support. I wonder, is this even on the margin? The only reason I'm doing this particular analysis is because of a person actually wanting me to do it, but I just want to see if this is even on the margin. Give me one moment here, because this actually looks like a pretty good opportunity. It's not on the margin. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't love to trade pairs that are not on margin because I can't short and long, not really giving me opportunities to really play the market. So I kind of play Forex, or I kind of play crypto like Forex, just looking at different pairs within the markets, looking at just kind of the major pairs, some of the minor pairs, but looks pretty good for the trader who wanted me to analyze this. Broke the major level of support, retested. We got our first injection of buy pressure, seeing a tremendous amount of buy pressure coming into the market. And then you could put a stop loss below here. You know, if this is the low, you could put a stop loss below the 40-cent range. You play around with it, but it looks pretty good for potential long. First level, take profit maybe at the 50-cent range. Yeah, maybe 50-cent range, and then the 53-cent range. Play around with the trade plan, but that's the overall crypto market analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's just look at some of the pairs here. I'm going to keep my eyes on Link. BNB looks okay. EOS looks okay. But yeah, Link is something that I would definitely be interested in if the price action shows. That is a possibility as well. XLM if it does pull back. So we got some opportunities to play with, and that's basically just looking at the comments within the thing here. How are Bitcoin made by woof, woof, woof? They're mined. There is a very challenging mathematical calculation that each miner has to try to solve, and the miners get rewarded in a probabilistic setting. And that's how they're made. There's a finite limited amount of 21 million that will ever be created ever. And there is an algorithm that sets a a fixed supply in a systematic, organized way that cuts in half, that kind of shocks the market in a sense. And that's what we're going to have this spring in 2020 is going to be the BTC halving, which is going to be very exciting. So yeah, that's how BTCs are made. I'm not going to dive into too deep. Anyways, let's go in the Discord and see if we have anyone's. Yeah, so BitMEX News. For anyone within our Discord, BitMEX News just sent me a freaking thing saying congratulations in connection with our new partner in the market. We made a giveaway. This is 100% a fucking scam. This right here is a scam. Don't click it. Don't just delete it right away. It is only there to make you lose money. Don't do it. Not worth it. Yeah, 100% a scam. So, that's the overall market analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. There's not much more to talk about within the video. Just looking at the questions here. That's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Cryptocurrencies are very interesting. They are, I think, going to be a major key player within the next 5 years in the future. Do you trade S&P 5 or S&P 500 futures? No, I don't trade like S&P minis or anything. I mainly just trade in the cryptocurrencies market. I used to trade TVIX, which is an inverse leveraged instrument of the S&P 500. So inverse meaning it does the opposite of what the S&P 500 does, and leverage meaning it was leveraged 3 times. So if it moves 3 times the amount. And I used to trade that very frequently, as well as I used to play the catalysts within the biotech phase, different phases, so within the biotech sector. So I'd look at mainly phase 2 and phase 3 when they have more efficacy in the drug trials. Phase 1 is just doing like testing of like, if it's safe for humans, whereas phase 2 and phase 3 have a lot more efficacy with drugs and ensuring that they are suitable for the diseases they're targeting. So I did that for a while, and then I traded Forex, doing more long-term swing trading. And then I found myself trading in the cryptocurrency market because it is very disruptive, it's emerging, it's very exciting, there's a lot of interesting projects. It's new. Like Forex is like, how old is currencies? Like, how old is fiat? I don't love fiat, and like I just and understanding the potential that BTC has, and seeing, like we saw in 2017 and 2016 massive bull runs, you see that the potential is there to make crazy money in these alts when the bull run does come in. So that's kind of why I'm in the cryptocurrency market. Do you trade options? So I don't trade options for stocks, but I sometimes do trade it in the derivatives market, which is trading options. I trade perpetual contracts, which do not expire within the cryptocurrency market. This is found using Bybit and BitMEX. They are 2 derivative exchanges that allow perpetual contract trading and leveraging up to 1 to 100 times. So you basically can trade options and really hedge yourself in the market. You can, if you want to, I don't condone it obviously, but you can really get your blood pumping and trade with high leverage. Obviously there's more fees associated with trading with high leverage, and you can really easily liquidate your account if you are leveraging too high, not really knowing what you're doing, not managing risk. It's a very tough situation if you over leverage. Thank you for following Woof Woof Woof. We appreciate all followers that follow us, that engage with us, that comment, or kind of, that try to promote our community in some way, shape, or form. So thank you very much. We appreciate it greatly. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I see Lewis. Hi, good morning. Good morning to you. Would you be able to have a look at Trezos, or Tezos, T-E-Z-O? Let's just look. I don't think I have it. Yeah, let's just look at it. What was the ticker? TZX? Let's look. So I don't really trade this coin ever. Forget the XTZ. Yeah, it was a weird one. That's what it was. XTZ. Oops, I'm not really clicking it there, am I? XTZ USDT. So on the 1 hour, we just broke. That's pretty good. On the 4 hour, we broke as well. Wow, that's a massive bull run. And that's all we have for data. Oh God, it's hard to determine. Let's look at the 4 hour. I guess we could just put some fibs and just lay some fibs in there. Looking from low to high. Held the 618 almost on the 4 hour. We don't have the perfect candle closure. Let's just see if we can fiddle with this a little bit. So yeah, I'll just say it's a 618 candle closure. That's a pretty well-defined area. And then we got basically the extension of the 271, which is around the $3.8 range, acting as a current level of resistance. Let's just go to the 1 hour once we've outlined our zones there. Yeah, so we currently have the $3.80-ish range act as a nice level of resistance. It looks like it's now going to act as a nice level of support. The next range of resistance is going to be around that $4 range, maybe $4.04 or something around the range of that. So we got our nice little resistance right around here and our nice little level of support. So we could be ranging. We don't exactly know. The price just pushed, so we want to see a continuation pattern before entering, but it doesn't look bad. We just broke our major level like here, so that's a pretty good situation to find ourselves in. So we got our major level of demand right here, and then we got our little minor level of support. So that's how I view the markets right now. We'll see if there's some level of a horizontal resistance that comes in or a descending resistance. Then we could potentially play that as a squeeze. That's basically how I view the markets for this pair. Hopefully that answered your question. Just looking at the different things that were happening in the markets right now. Neo, not really seeing anything interesting. Link, not really doing anything interesting. XRP still pulling back. Let's just see what the 4 hour is doing now. We got 1 hour or 45 minutes till the 4 hour closes. Nothing really crazy in the markets right now. I'm pretty happy with the entries that I have with Litecoin and XRP. Stellar is actually coming back. XLM is coming back. That could be a good opportunity for us to enter long. That would be a good opportunity. ZEC is still kind of starting its first injection of buy pressure, which is good. Not really going to be doing anything on that one for a little bit. So we'll see what the market does. We'll see what XLM does, and then we'll see what the rest of the market does. So that's basically the overall structure for, yeah. Yeah, no problem, Lewis. Thank you. It is XTZ. You're welcome. So I think that is the overall analysis. If anyone has any other questions, please drop them in the comment section below. If not, I'm probably going to close this off and eat some food or do something that involves me consuming some sort of nutrition. Don't really see any more comments coming in yet, so thank you very much for tuning in this time around. And if you missed it, we'll probably do a YouTube live, or sorry, we'll probably do a TikTok live later on today at night, just to kind of cover all bases for different time frames that people are coming in from. And we hope you enjoyed. Happy trading, and we'll see you within the next Bitcoin update or crypto market update.